Hope everyone is enjoying their weekend, and I think it's time to get back into Pirkei Avot. We are on the second parak, the seventh Mishnah. This Mishnah is very interesting. There's about 10 phrases that talk about overindulgences, as well as indulgences that are actually very appropriate and very worthwhile. So you could say that the first half of this Mishnah that we're about to learn together talks about overindulgences and excesses. And the basic theme is that too much material possessions, too much physicality can sometimes weigh us down, no pun intended. Hu haya omer, the Mishnah says, Marbeh basar, marbeh rima, that the more flesh, the more worms. It's kind of tough to think about, a little gross, but worms in the grave, the more the more flesh there is, the more worms that come along with it. It's a warning, Obviously, you have to eat. Obviously, you have to have a healthy, strong body. But it's just warning about the limits. Focus just as much on your spiritual well-being as on your physical well-being. The Mishnah is obviously putting it in a very dramatic light, but that's the idea. The more possessions one has, the more worries, right? You see, the more credit cards people open, sometimes it starts getting out of hand. The more you have to manage. Possessions, if people hoard things and keep it in their basement or whatever, things that they really don't need. Sometimes it's hard to unload it when they want to move on. Just think twice before acquiring lots and lots of different things. Then the worry that goes with it, not just financial, but also just in terms of managing. Sometimes less is more. Marba nasha, marba kishafim. The more wives, the more witchcraft. Obviously, this is geared towards men. Again, I gave a class on polygamy, assuming that at one point in Jewish history, polygamy was a practice that, while allowed, I think our Mishnah is telling you to take a step back. Witchcraft here can be translated not literally as witchcraft, but as each wife striving to outdo the other one to gain the attention of the husband. Sometimes one wife, one husband's the best recipe for marital success. Marbe shvachos, marbe zima, marbe avoda, marbe gezel. The more female maidservants that one has, marbe zima, licentiousness between servants and maidservants, between maidservants and masters. Be careful who you have in your house. Having too many, unrelated people, men, women, in one's home. Just be careful, is what the Mishnah is telling you. Marba avodim, marba gezel. Servants, the more theft. Fortunately, servants are not always of the most trustworthy ilk. Some are, obviously. But the more you have to check on them and make sure nothing fishy is going on, which can sometimes be hard to manage. Marbet Torah. So now we're going to get into the positives. Marbet Torah, marbet Chayim. Right? The verse teaches us that Torah is life. That the more Torah one studies and one lives by, that enhances and that grows one's life. Marbe yeshiva, marbe chachma, the more literally sitting, but the more studying, the more wisdom. Obviously, the more one studies, Chumash, Mishnah, Talmud, Halacha, and much, much more. The more one studies, the more the Jewish wisdom in one increases as well. Obviously, marba etza, marba tvuna. The more counsel, the more understanding. This is similar, but it's a little bit different. Etza means to ask questions, to gain counsel from other people, and if you do that, you'll be able to understand things, right? So, in the first case is more talking about attaining knowledge, attaining wisdom. Now we're talking about attaining understanding. Analytical skills can only be done through comparing and contrasting texts and posing questions to one's teachers. That's how you increase understanding. Marbet tzedakah, marbet shalom. The more charity, the more peace. This is somewhat straightforward to understand. So first of all, you increase peace between poor people and God, because the more you supply them with what they need, the more at peace they are with God, and also the more peace they are with fellow human beings. That they'll understand that we don't live in a socialist world. People are of different economic means, and yet if those that have help those that have less, it increases peace, because those that have less realize that people are looking out for them, and although the economic spheres are different, those that have are willing to help, and that increases peace amongst everybody. Kana shem tov, kana la'atzmo. If you acquire a good name, a good reputation, you've acquired it for yourself. One explanation I saw means that you've acquired something that can benefit your life. Kana la'atzmo. You take that good name and you apply it to yourself. Whatever you do in life, once you have that good name, you are much more enriched by the fact that you have a good reputation that can precede you. Kana lo divrei Torah, kana lo chayei olam haba. One that acquires for himself the words of Torah. This doesn't just mean that you study and study and study, but besides for that, you also have to let the Torah penetrate. Kana lo divrei Torah. If you've acquired for yourself the words of Torah, if you've let it influence and enlighten your life, kana lo chayei olam haba, you've acquired for yourself life in the world to come. And so what you see obviously are two approaches, two equally important things to keep in mind from this mission. The first is to stay away from excesses, from material overindulgences that can sometimes weigh us down and keep us from our spiritual goals. And on the flip side, the more spirituality and the more learning, the more study, and the more good deeds, the more charity that we do, that we accomplish, the greater our spiritual gifts will be. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day.